Good day, everybody, and welcome to today's episode 52 on my video investment, property investment video series. And today we're going to talk about recent land sales in Johor. Now, if you have been paying attention to the news, there's been a lot of land transactions in Johor recently. Now, I'm going to divide them into a few categories so you can understand why these transactions are happening and what's the implication to the market. And this is what we'll cover in this video. So, as per usual, let's start this video with an introduction on myself.
Director of Outbound Marketing at Ryan
Still in Skandar, Malaysia. So my name is Ryan. Nama saya Ryan.
6,000 incoming supply in Johor. This is
I'm writing. Thank you for attending today's presentation on Skandar, Malaysia.
So my name is Ryan Khoo and I'm a Malaysian. I'm a Singapore PR. I've been in Singapore for more than 10 years now. I'm quite familiar with the Singapore and Malaysian markets. I'm a property agent. I'm also a property investor. Actually, I'm a property investor first. I started investing in real estate long before I became an agent. I've made my pot of gold several times in real estate, both as a property investor as well as a property agent. I'm well known for talking about Iskandar Malaysia, Johor Bahru. You have seen me before in events by Property Guru, by ST Property, with various influential figures in the property market to talk about JB Property. I used to write articles for HProp as well. So so today's video we're going to talk about recent land sales, and I'm going to categorize them into 4 types of land sales, right, in Johor now. As most of you are probably aware, the Johor property market is recovering, and there's a mini boom happening right now. This boom, I think, is still in the early stages. Because what we are seeing now is actually land sales. Now, land sales will then transform into buildings, right, which will take a few more years. So it's just the beginning of the next Johor property boom. Now, there are 4 types of land sales. The first one I call is the data centers. I'll explain later why. Industrial property and as well as residential, both for the city center as well as residential for townships. Now, let's start with the data center one first. Now, you may be wondering, some of you will be paying attention to the news, that why is Johor Bahru the place to put data center. Actually, the main preference actually is Singapore. If you see, this is a submarine cable map. Now, when you have internet, right, your internet don't magically appear, right? So there are actually cables in the ocean, right, that carry the internet for you. Now, if you notice the cable map in Singapore, Malaysia, right, actually all of it congregates around this little dot here, which is Singapore. So actually Singapore is the main so-called connection point for many of the submarine cables globally to provide internet throughout Southeast Asia. Now, you will notice that one problem that Singapore has, of course, is land. Now, Singapore is just an island. There's not much land, right, to keep on adding submarine cables or data centers for that perspective. And of course, data center also consume a lot of power, right, which of course Singapore being an island, a lot of the power in Singapore is imported, right? Singapore does not generate a lot of power by itself, right, which is the reason why Singapore going to start to buy electricity from Malaysia, and they tried to buy electricity from Australia also at one point. Okay, so the next best location, right, if all your submarine cables like that, the nearest, of course, is Johor lah, right? Johor just next door, so it cannot be Penang or KL or whatever, right? Because Johor is the nearest, right, if you want to connect the cable over. So this is why data centers are very popular in Johor right now. In case you're wondering, hey, why of all places go to Johor, right? Okay, so it come on the news, right? This is from Channel News Asia, right? Why data centers are getting popular in Johor, right? One thing that Malaysia has is that we have the land, right? And we also have power. Although it mentions here that water and power remain bottleneck, actually the issue is actually power connection, because Malaysia may have excess power, but getting all that power to Johor and to the factory is one issue. You need to build the infrastructure for that. So actually infrastructure stocks, construction stocks in Malaysia also price went up recently because their share price, because they expect a lot of construction work to start pushing this power from the power station to the data center location, right? So water also an issue, right? Getting the water from the river into the data centers, because data centers use a lot of water and power, right? Which is something that, of course, Singapore, being an island with no natural resources, they have this issue, right? That's why a lot of data center company, not just Singapore-based, but also from other parts of the world, are going into Johor. Okay, even Singtel, right, in talks to build one data center in Johor. This came out in the news quite recently on June 12th. We also know that NVIDIA, right, is going to partner YTL, which is a conglomerate in Malaysia, to build an AI supercomputer / data center in Johor. This has also been confirmed earlier this year. Crescendo, which is a industrial developer in Johor, they have actually sold consecutively, right, 6 plots of land to 6 different operators to build data center, right, consecutively over this time frame, right, in 7 months. Crescendo has sold over 150 acres of land, right, in Johor just to build data centers, right. They are sold to people including Microsoft, right. In fact, Sunrise, which is in the west, this is towards Gelang Patah. Sunrise also sold this one. Very likely it's to Logos. They just announced this a few months earlier. So I assume it's the same guy buying. Also for data center, this one is in Iskandar Puteri, right? EcoWorld also sell land to Microsoft, 400 million, quite big plot of land. Also in Kulai. Actually, EcoWorld just bought this land in January, and then hardly 6 months later already flipped the land to Microsoft. So power to EcoWorld then power. Also for data center purpose. So Microsoft is opening a number of data centers in Malaysia, but looks like the Johor will be the biggest ones. We move on to industrial, right? So industrial, of course, part of the reason why Malaysia is doing well for industrial property right now is because of the ongoing trade war between China and US. So what happens is that a lot of manufacturers are going to Southeast Asia to have a backup manufacturing facility to the one that they have in China, or if they are moving out of China altogether. So Southeast Asia is a big beneficiary. Countries like Malaysia, Vietnam, Indonesia are the biggest beneficiaries because we've got a lot of land to build this. Malaysia has one advantage, which is infrastructure. So actually, CapitaLand Malaysia Trust also bought 3 factories, right, paying them good yield, rental yield right now. We also have Sunway, and this is another Singapore company. They're going to start on a very large industrial logistics in Tuas, near Tuas, right, in Iskandar, quite near to Tuas. I don't know if you guys are aware, but again, because of the Israel-Palestine war, right, there's been a lot of issues with shipping in the Red Sea. Now, Singapore has a record high usage of at the container ports. I think came out on the news as well. Johor also benefit a lot at Port of Tanjung Pelepas because we're just next to Singapore. So whatever Singapore cannot absorb, it goes into Johor. Johor economies are that, right? There is a spillover effect from Singapore, right? And yeah, this is other AME Elite is one of these other developers, quite focused on industrial, keep buying land, right, in Johor, North Johor, right, for more industrial properties. So you can see industrial is one segment that's doing quite well in Johor. And all these news, if you notice, are very recent, right, in the past 3 to 6 months announced in the media. Okay, so I move on to residential. Now, as of course, with the RTS coming to Johor and Singapore, right, a lot of developers are also interested to buy land near the RTS. Now, buying land near the RTS is quite difficult actually. So this developer called Maxim, they bought one land. The headline is a bit misleading. Land near Bukit Jaga is not really that near. This plot of land is actually near Taman Sri Sentosa, if you guys know where is it. Sri Tebrau, behind Sri Tebrau, Sri Sentosa, that side. So it's not exactly near RTS. You can drive lah, but you cannot walk lah, this plot of land. But it shows you that developers are trying to buy as near to the RTS as possible, right? I've mentioned in my earlier videos that actually it's quite difficult to get land walking distance to RTS. Driving distance can, walking distance is a bit tough, but it shows you, and the land prices have shot up quite a fair bit. We have some people asking as high as 1,000 PSM now, although realistically, I think we see a lot of land being transacted around 600-700 per square foot right now. Land alone, right, in the city center, right? The other thing I want to talk about is township residential land. Now, township residential land is this, we have 3 articles here which I highlight. Sheikh Mokhtar, which bought SP Setia Tebrau land. This is quite a big plot of land, right? Sintex also bought land, and also Masing also bought land. Now, all these lands are quite large, and the purpose they buy this land is for township. Now, when we say township, we're talking about landed lah. Basically, mostly landed lah. Township means landed lah. Generally speaking, of course, with some shop house, usually, maybe 1-2 condo. But by and large, all this land, township land means for landed. Now, if you look at, this is a general map of JB, right? I use Google Map. Now, of course, all this brown color area means developed, right? Brown color means no more tree, means all these are urbanized areas, right? Where all the urbanization is. Green color means the land is still quite natural, right? As per how you'll normally see a map. Now, these lands, which just now the 3 articles which I showed you above, right? They are generally in the red circle. So you will notice that all the land that they are buying are greenfield land. So you must buy greenfield land, you must find those 100-acre, 200-acre plot of land. Then only you can build township. You cannot build township on 4 to 5 acres. You must build township on like 100-acre. So my point is that you will notice that all these greenfield land are also further and further away from the town center, right? So you will see that what we call urban sprawl, right? That means the city is growing, right? City is growing. And one thing that will happen is all these new townships will be so-called further away, right? That means last time, this taman already full, nothing already, right? So the developer buy land further out a bit, to build the next township, right? So they will get further and further away. I give you one example, which is Austin, right? Last time used to be not before Austin, right? There was Taman Molet, Taman Ponderosa, right? Then Molet, Ponderosa full already, so they move on to Austin. Now Austin full already, they move on to Dato On. Dato On full already, they move on to where Eco Spring, Eco Summer is. Now after Eco Spring, Eco Summer full already, actually behind it is this plot of land bought by Sheikh Mokhtar, right? He is actually the next layer. His land is actually just behind Eco Spring, Eco Summer. So this is what I mean by sprawl, right? The land, the layer become bigger and bigger, right? So what means actually is a side effect of that, right? If you want to buy affordable landed, right, you have to go further away. I repeat, if you want to buy affordable landed, you have to go further away, right? Then the landed in the town become more expensive or cannot get, right? Maybe that land also the landed in the town also too old, right? They may be developed, right? One side effect of that is that traffic will get very bad, right? And when traffic gets very bad, right, you will see that even if you can buy the landed cheap, right, people may not want to stay there anymore because it's just too far away, right? Like for example, if you were from JB City Center and you want to go to Kalampata, right, this could be a 45-minute drive, right? If you want to go to Austin, this can also be a 45-minute drive, right? From city center to Kulai, right, which is already the most north, right, this can be almost 1 hour at times, depending on the traffic. I think good traffic maybe an hour. More than bad traffic, right, you will definitely take more than an hour to get to Kulai. So what I'm trying to say is that even for Malaysian local, right, they want to buy landed, right, the choices are like that already. It becomes further away. If you want cheap, you want to buy nice, you pay more, right? So what will happen is that when traffic becomes bad, similarly to what you see in KL and Penang, more and more people will accept to live in high rise, in condo, right? And because the high rise location will be better, because high rise don't need so much land, high rise you can build on smaller plots of land, and the high rise can be in better locations. So places like Danga Bay, for example, I feel Danga Bay is one area that will potentially benefit for this in the next 10-20 years, right? Or anything nearer to town where traffic is not so bad, right? Easier to get to work. Work can be in JB town usually or in Singapore, right? People don't want to travel so far and they don't mind to stay condo, and condo may be cheaper also than the landed, right? So what will happen is that you push buyer towards high rise nearer to town. So this is one side effect that I believe will happen in JB, similar to what happened in KL and Penang in the past 10-20 years, this urban sprawl effect. Okay, so I hope this video was useful to you. Teach you something new today about landed urban sprawl, give you excitement about the land transactions. Why land transactions are important to a property cycle? Because it reflects the moving forward, the situation we are in the property cycle. Now, if there's a lot of land transaction, means in the next 6 to 12 months, you'll see that all this land convert into new project. And this new project will be at a new price because of today's new construction price and because demand is high today. Because demand is high, that's why developer only there to buy land to build, right? If the demand is not there, developer will not buy land. Because demand is there, that's why developer buy land. So we are only at the start of the new property cycle, and I wish everybody here who owns property in JB or going to buy property in JB, I wish you all the very best. If you buy early in the cycle, your chances of making profit are much better. Of course, buy the right property, don't buy the wrong one. Okay, so thank you very much. If you like our topics today, do drop me an email or WhatsApp me at my numbers there below. If you like our videos, also do like, share, and subscribe.